Thank you, Mr. Chair. This question is for you, Mr. Yang. In 1960, America's federal funding represented 45% of all global research and development funding across the world. Today, that funding is only 10% for global funding. Why is federal funding of research important, and what can the federal government do to continue supporting that research?
Thank you very much for that question. Federal funding is critical to advance in all of the fields that we're talking about. And let's be clear, the vast majority of the funding goes to open research. Open research leads to the discoveries that we see, whether it is in science, whether it is mathematics, whether it is even in literature or history. And so if we are trying to really advance the American system, we need to continue that open and collaborative process. And I agree that transparency is necessary, but we need to make sure that that transparency is narrowly tailored to the issues at hand. Make sure that our universities are able to comply in a simple manner. The other thing I am concerned about is, as we are moving along in this, if we are going to be changing standards, we need to make sure not to have retroactive application of those standards so that universities or individuals get caught up in the process.
Thank you. Can you discuss the economic and social value of bringing in scholars from across the globe into the American higher education system?
Thank you very much. Certainly there's a huge economic value in the neighborhood of tens of billions of dollars that goes into our U.S. economy from international students as a whole. But then beyond that is the soft value that we have of introducing them to our American system. And I would challenge and I would posit that our universities are still succeeding in that. Frankly, if anything, the numbers tell us that the sentiment against Asian Americans, Chinese Americans, is at an all-time low. So to the extent that propaganda is trying to cause American students to look against the United States or look towards China, that propaganda is failing. The fact that 1 in 4 Americans believe that Asian Americans owe a dual loyalty is very problematic. And so we must continue to encourage those cultural exchanges so that the next generation beyond us can find ways to find the common humanity in all of us.
And can you tell us what impact does harmful rhetoric and misinformation have on collaborations with international educational institutions?
Literally, my organization and sister organizations of ours hear almost every day about professors and students that are no longer willing to come to the United States. And these are professors and students that have so much to offer to our country. And again, I'm not even necessarily talking about sensitive areas like nuclear secrets or military industrial complex issues, but basic collaboration that is being lost. And they are going to other countries. So if we are talking about a potential brain drain to this country, that is something that we have to solve as well.
Thank you. Mr. Moore, in my home state of Florida, the University of Florida's agroecology program partners with several international schools, including the Hebrew University of Jerusalem. These research partnerships are crucial to promoting mutually beneficial research in our higher education institutions, but the calls in your testimony to increase enforcement of Section 117 has the potential to foster a hostile environment for future international research. Can you please explain to this committee how this draconian enforcement measures will not discourage collaboration with international research partners?
Thank you, Congresswoman. I think Section 117 and anything that I've mentioned today to strengthen it it's simply, again, disclosure. It wouldn't do anything to inhibit money from China, money from Israel, money from anywhere. Those relationships can continue, contracts can continue, new ones can be made, billions of dollars can continue to come in. There's no limitation on that in anything that I've said or anything that Section 117 currently says. It simply has to be disclosed. And my view is that the American people are entitled to that information. Policymakers should be informed by that information too. That shouldn't be any kind of threat to collaborations. If there's a nefarious donor or collaborator, and it scares off that collaboration, then I think that's probably a very good thing. In the case that you mentioned, I don't think that would be an issue. Thank you.
I yield back. Thank you.